Instead, let's take a passion to the sheets and just go crazy. You can be as wild as you want that night. You ain't gotta be a lady.
All right, this is gonna be a really weird episode. My energy isn't the greatest. Not feeling the greatest internally. I'm not sick physically or anything. Just the events of the last 2 days are really crazy, or really the last 24 hours. Yesterday was nuts. Today's Saturday, July. Today's June 25th, Saturday. When I'm recording this, it's been a wild one. And so most of my topics today are interconnecting. Most of the topics today have to do with the Supreme Court and the supreme nonsense that they have been doing in the past week or so. So let's just talk about it. I'm not going to play the politics as usual drop because I'd have to play it every topic. So it's all interconnected. It all has to do with politics today. And I guess we just dive right in. I'm going to try my best to edit out the background noise. My neighbors are having a party and they've been rocking all day. So I was unable to avoid recording while they were partying. So I'm going to try my best to edit out the background. If y'all hear some Spanish music in the background, I apologize. I'm not exactly an audio engineer. So let's get into it. I guess the simplest one, the biggest one is Roe v. Wade. It's so weird that I asked about it when I did the pod earlier this week. In the beginning of this week, the episode I dropped, I asked, hey, what happened to Roe v. Wade? It seemed like the universe heard me. And here we are. So Roe v. Wade was decided upon. They finally let the public know that it is no longer going to be upheld. Roe v. Wade is over. And basically, it is not a woman's constitutional right to have an abortion. That's what was decided. And I don't understand why they are attacking women in this way. I don't understand why they feel that this has to happen. It seems like less and less the Supreme Court is trying to uphold the I don't even know how to word this. It seems like less and less they care about what the country cares about as a whole. It seems like less and less they care about what anyone thinks except the people in the room making the judgment. And I guess that's a conversation for another time. Should the Supreme Court take into consideration the things that the nation believes, feels, the things that represent the nation? I guess that's a conversation for another time. But it seems like less and less they are considering those things. It seems like it's just like, what do the nine of us believe? What do the people in this room believe themselves? And I'm not really sure why that is happening. Some people feel it's because of the predominantly Republican justices that are there. I don't know, and I don't want to make any assumptions at this moment. I try to be fact-based. So that's what's been decided. Roe v. Wade is no longer. There are already other states that have laws ready to go that will ban abortions. And there are states that canceled all their appointments that were had, all the appointments that were set for ladies to have abortions. It's really fucking sad. And I don't understand what's going on. I don't know why they want to make things harder for women, but man, they really are. And it's really ironic to me that the same nation that's having a baby food shortage is also telling people they have to have babies. Also telling women that they have to have babies. Um, it's really crazy. It's really fucked up. That's the short. That's the long and short of it. Um, the simple answer would be move out of the states that are putting these bans in place, but that's not easy for everyone. Um, some states are going to step up and help the women who cannot get abortions in their home states. I see that some companies, big corporations, are already saying like this is bullshit. We will help pay travel expenses if you need to get these type of services done, and you're one of our employees. Y'all can look it up. A couple different companies have said that. I think that's really dope, and hopefully more companies do that. I know here in the tri-state, um, New Jersey's, New Jersey's governor, Governor Murphy said like, "Yo, come through. Like, we'll always have the services. We are not changing it. Come on down." And that's really dope. But now it's a whole other thing because now you would have to be able to travel from your home state to another state, and that could be a very costly thing. So if you're not an employer of one of those conglomerates that are offering this uh, stipend help assistance, then it could be uh, a really challenging thing to do. So uh, I've already said what I feel when I started talking about this weeks and weeks ago, but I'll reiterate: women go through enough. This is fucked up. They should not be going through this. I feel for the women out there, and I have a sister and a daughter, and I feel for them too. Um, yeah, adoption is a thing. You can give the kid up for adoption, but some of these states don't even care what the circumstances are, and that's a whole nother conversation. They don't care if it's incest or extreme. What do they call it? Extreme incest, which I didn't even know that was a term. But they don't care if it's extreme incest or rape that got you pregnant. They still don't want abortions happening. So, uh, yeah, this is really bad. Um, I don't even really know what to say. It's clear that there is a stance being taken towards women, and I think that that's really fucked up. Women, I feel for you, and I'm here for you. And I think that all the protesting is cool, but I don't know if protesting is gonna fix this. Um, there's a lot of protests that are happening. People's voices need to be heard. I totally agree with that. 1000%. It's part of why I do music. It's part of why I pod. Um, I just don't know if protesting is enough. That's all I can say for now. All right, so this is Routers. Uh, that I'm gonna read from. Uh, so June 23rd uh, is when this article was written. So Thursday of this week, the U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday shielded police from the risk of paying money damages for failing to advise criminal suspects of their rights before obtaining statements later used against them in court. My neighbors are doing it. I'm going to just start over. The U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday shielded police from the risk of paying money damages for failing to advise criminal suspects of their rights before obtaining statements later used against them in court, siding with a Los Angeles County deputy sheriff. The justices ruled 6-3 in favor of Deputy Sheriff Carlos Vega, who had appealed a lower court decision reviving a lawsuit by a hospital employee named, I'm not reading this person's name, who accused the officer of violating his rights under the U.S. Constitution's Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination. It says here, at issue was whether the use in court of statements collected from suspects who have not been given a Miranda warning may give rise to a civil lawsuit against the investigating officer under a federal law that helps people sue government officials for violating their constitutional rights. So basically, Miranda rights are when you get arrested. Y'all know in all the shows and movies, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be held against you in a court of law. That whole shtick. They're saying that so before you had to be Mirandized when you were arrested. If you were not, then you could sue. And so now they're saying no, you cannot sue. The Ninth Circuit found that using a statement taken without a Miranda warning against a defendant in a criminal trial violates the Fifth Amendment, giving rise to claim that for monetary damages against the officer who obtains the statement. They don't give the Miranda rights, then the suspect can sue. However, that has changed. Appealing to the Supreme Court, Vega's attorney said in a legal filing that the Ninth Circuit's decision threatened to, quote, saddle police departments nationwide with extraordinary burdens in connection with lawful and appropriate investigative work, and that virtually any police interaction with a criminal suspect might lead to liability for officers. They are siding with police. Yeah, 6-3 ruling, that's that. So, if you don't get Mirandized, no matter. You can no longer sue or anything. And I don't understand how that's even possible. That means the officer did not do their job, and they are going to just be in the clear. I think what this says is that we as a people truly need to learn the Constitution, the amendments, and our rights. I think we really need to sharpen our swords and really truly learn what it is that we can and cannot do. It's kind of like when you start a job and you read the employee handbook. You got to read it so you can know what the rules are and aren't. So when the BS comes, you're prepared. I think that is important. And I think right now, this shit is gross. That is another Supreme Court decision that happened this week. But wait, there's more. I don't even need the specs for this one. The Supreme Court also ruled that you can no longer stop people from carrying weapons in New York. More specifically, guns. You can now, in New York, have a concealed carry weapon. Before, you needed lots and lots of things to be able to get a weapon in New York. This is going to change rapidly because now you can walk with a concealed weapon in New York. Shit is about to get real. Supreme Court overturned a decision that said you could not have a concealed carry situation in New York. It's over now. Weapons will be out. This is a fact. There are lots of people in New York who have been trying to get weapons and having lots of difficulty doing so because of this law. This law is no longer being upheld. The Supreme Court tossed it. It's over. It's about to get real dangerous in New York. And it's already been dangerous. There have already been lots of things going on. I'm not going to advise what people should do or not do about weapons. But just know that this law changes things drastically in New York. There will be weapons in New York. So think about what that means for you as you travel through New York State, through New York City. because you will be able to have a concealed weapon in New York. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to go through the legal channels, but it will be happening. And that means shit is going to get real, real quick. I'll say it again. Shit is going to get real, real quick. Yeah, it's about to get wild. Nipsey Hussle said, God bless the dead. It used to be stay safe, now stay dangerous. Let's move on. Putting the specs on to read something because normally I like to talk about sexual topics and things surrounding the sexual nature, our sexual natures as human beings. Maybe offer some advice. But I have to talk about something very specific. So it won't be any advice today. All right. So this article is from thehill.com. Thomas calls for overturning precedents on contraceptives. I have no clue why I just said that like that. On contraceptives and LGBTQ rights. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas on Friday called for overturning the constitutional rights the court had affirmed for access to contraceptives and LGBTQ rights in an opinion concurring with the majority to decision. Oh, I thought I was reading it wrong. It does say to decision. With the majority to decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. In his separate opinion, Thomas acknowledged that Friday's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization does not directly affect any rights besides abortion. But he argued that the Constitution's due process clause does not secure a right to an abortion or any other substantive rights. And he urged the court to apply that reasoning to other landmark cases. Thomas wrote, quote, in future cases, we should reconsider all of this court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Obergefell. I might be pronouncing that last one wrong. The three cases Thomas mentioned are all landmark decisions establishing certain constitutional rights. In Griswold versus Connecticut, the court ruled in 1965 that married couples have a right to access contraceptive. In 2003, the court said in Lawrence versus Texas that states could not outlaw consensual gay sex. And the court's 2015 decision in Obergefell versus Hodges established a constitutional right to the same-sex marriage. So, citing those three cases is very specific. Those cases are about same-sex marriage and contraceptives. That is what those decisions were about. Citing those three cases specifically tells us that Clarence Thomas wants to get rid of same-sex marriage and contraceptives, or the rights to contraceptives, which means, like I said in an earlier pod, that we could be looking at a decision, a ruling also coming up about things like the abortion pill, the next day pill, or the day after pill, what we call the Plan B pill, and things of that nature. And same-sex marriages. It's crazy to me. Yo, like seriously, I don't understand what's going on. No, he has not stated that those things will be overturned. Let me be clear. His opinion piece does not state that these things will be overturned or that these things are going to change. But he's encouraging the court, his other justices, or the other justices, his co-workers, his cohorts, whatever. I know those are different words, but I'm saying them for a reason. He is encouraging them to reconsider those things as well. Yo, fam, you gotta relax. The only black man judge in the Supreme Court is saying basically, yo, let's get rid of same sex marriages and contraceptives. This is crazy. There is nothing wrong with having access to these things. I don't understand. It's like you want the country to revert back to the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. Like what year is it? What year are we in? It's crazy that these old men, because largely that's what is in the Supreme Court. The 9 judges, I believe 6 of them are men, and they ain't really young. And you can understand why it takes a minute to become a judge and then Supreme Court judge. Hey, I get it. But these old men are trying to revert the country back to some really weird times. The progress this nation has made in many years since then, it looks like they just want to take us back. It's fucking sad and it's gross. Same-sex marriage is something that you want to revisit. Same-sex marriage is something that you want to reconsider. Why? Yo, people should be able to marry whoever they want. That's it. People should be able to marry whoever they want. If both parties agree, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what their sexual preferences are. Yo, let them get married. That's it. Marriage is a very specific decision that takes lots and lots of thinking. It's not usually something that you just do on a whim. Yeah, people do it, but there's lots to consider. It's a legally binding contract. If people want to sign a legally binding contract, yo, let them do what the fuck they want to do. Damn. And contraceptives, no, it doesn't surprise me that y'all want to get rid of them, but it's gross because you're pushing a very specific narrative. It's like, yo, there's a war going on women and on the country, and it's fucking nasty. Like, I don't understand. It's disgusting. Yo, people should be free to do what they want. Isn't that the whole thing about freedom? Freedom of choice? Don't we have the right to choose what we want to do? Isn't that the whole shtick? This country's going to a really weird place. A really fucked up place. And if it's going to be the wild, wild west, which I know is not a real thing, but it's a term that we use. It was a show and a movie and all these other things. It's a form of media. But that's what y'all want to do. Understand what comes with that. Understand that you can't keep poking the people and think nothing is going to happen. And I want people to understand that, yo, they can say what the fuck they want. Understand that the nation is not made up of 9 people. It's made up of all of us. And the people have the power. People listening, people watching, don't forget that. Don't forget that they can say what the fuck they want. But it ain't only them in this nation. There are still lots of other things we can do. As I said earlier, I don't know if protesting is enough. I'll leave it there for now. But please, listeners, watchers, viewers, think, look, listen. Pay attention, because right now shit is changing and it's changing quick. In a week, these 9 people have made a bunch of decisions that affect us all on a daily, that affect our kids, our family, our loved ones, our friends, everyone. Especially if your skin is brown. Just keeping it real. I'm going to leave it here because this is a longer pod than I wanted to do originally when I set out to do 2 this week. But there's lots to discuss. I have lots of feelings that I'm still sorting through myself because all the shit has been happening back to back. If you're in the tri-state area, remember what I said. Weapons are out. And this was passed in the beginning of the 2022 summer. They say stay out of NYC. We may need to broaden that hashtag. Might have to be stay out of the US. Stay out of the Supreme Court. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not very animated and jokey this pod, but shit is real serious. There's too much nonsense going on for me to be playing right now. And hey, maybe we should be doing like my neighbors and partying. Maybe we should do like Prince said and party like it's 1999. I don't know. Maybe we should all get some legal marijuana and forget about all our problems while we get high. I don't know what the solution is, but I do know that we cannot simply allow ourselves to be bullied and smacked around by these 9 people. I'm out for now. Hopefully, I'll see y'all next week. Stay safe or do what you need to do. Yeah. Peace.